Hello, welcome to the Geeks Handbag, coming to you from a car somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I'm driving to my local B&M to try and find these new exclusive Doctor Who sets. There's 3 figure sets and a TARDIS set with the Third Doctor, which is the one I'm really excited about. But will they have them? Stay tuned to find out. Dear, literally just that. Man, that is frustrating. So just the 4th Doctor set, the 1970s set. Oh, that's frustrating, just the one set on the shelf, but I guess getting one set's better than no set. First impressions, the set does look nice, but I noticed the Brigadier's got a little blob on his head there. I hope that comes off. Anyway, we'll take a closer look at these guys later. So I guess we try again tomorrow. So I thought I'd have a quick look on eBay to see if any of the sets are on there, because technically they only came out today and there's loads. Basically it would seem some people have just been going around and clearing the shelves, buying up all the stock and putting them on here to sell for really extortionate prices. So have a look at this. So there's quite a few figure sets on there and they're selling for around £30 to £40. But look at this, the Third Doctor and TARDIS set, the one I really wanted. £106 with 9 bids and still 5 days to go. £108, 7 bids with 5 days to go. £94, 4 bids, 5 days to go. It's extortionate. I mean, I actually find it quite sickening really, because it's just denying real fans like myself the chance to get them for the recommended retail price. So a couple of days later and we're on the road again. I phoned my 2 local B&M stores this morning, but neither of them have got any stock. But I've managed to find a store a bit further out that thinks they do have them. The only problem is the product code is exactly the same for these new sets as last year's sets, so fingers crossed. I've never been to this store before. Oh yes, so they got the 4th, 11th and 12th, that's good. Still got the 9th Doctor set as well. Cool, they've got the 12th Doctor and the 11th Doctor sets, but no sign of the TARDIS. Success. So 11th Doctor set, 12th Doctor set, and also I exchanged my 1970s set, because if you remember, the one I bought before, the Brigadier, had a big plastic cornflake stuck to the side of his head and it wouldn't come off, so this one is much better. So now, I've got all 3 sets. So I'm happy with that. Now I just need to find the TARDIS. TARDIS. The B&M TARDIS.
Overall, it is a really lovely TARDIS prop, and one of which that I highly recommend to absolutely every single person who watches this video. That's including you, Adam, from the Geeks Handbag, because hey, your local B&Ms don't seem to be stocked.
I want it. TARDIS.
If only your B&M was just a little bit better and you could actually have one of these for your collection, but oh well.
Away from me with that pastry.
I like it that much that I've in fact gone and bought 2. This one's one that I'm going to be keeping in the box.
2 TARDIS, I've got 2. I just want 1 TARDIS.
So yeah, good luck in finding one, because this one's mine.
Yeah, TARDIS. Oh. So a package has arrived from Ben Lett, aka the Host Productions, and it is the TARDIS. Yes, he managed to find me one at his local B&M store and he's very kindly sent it to me. What an absolute legend. I am so relieved to have got this. So hurrah, I've managed to get all the sets. I'm very pleased. I particularly like the smaller boxes on the figure sets, much more compact. But have they been worth all this stress to get them? Let's open them and find out. The 70s, yes, good time. So let's start by taking a look at the packaging. Nice big window display showing the figures, includes the 4th Doctor, the Brigadier and Auton. Turning it round, we get a picture of the figures themselves, but no information on what stories these figures are actually based on. And that's pretty much it for the packaging, so let's set the figures free before that Auton decides to break out the box. So let's start with the 4th Doctor himself, and of course this is supposed to be the costume he wears in Talons of Weng-Chiang. It's nice to have a variant of the 4th Doctor. It's a bit of an amalgamation of different body sculpts that have been used with figures like the 3rd Doctor. It's a repaint of the 3rd Doctor's coat. It just about works. I think they just about get away with it, and the paint apps are quite nice on it. Taking a closer look at the outfit, I can't quite work out which sculpts they've reused for this with the jacket, waistcoat and tie, but again it looks okay. We've had a couple of different head sculpts of the Fourth Doctor from character over the years, with hat, without hat. Quite rightly they've gone with this one without the hat, and it looks pretty good. Taking a look at the lower half of the figure, and he's got some very shiny shoes. They look okay, but there's no detail on there whatsoever, not even a single bootlace. However, I do like the fact they've painted his hands to look like gloves. I like the colour they've used, and I think they look good. Articulation wise, he's pretty good. He's got movement in the arms and knees, and he can do the splits, and he's not restricted by the jacket at all. So overall, he's quite a poseable figure. So a bit of a mishmash this figure, but overall, I quite like him. And so on to the Brigadier, a character I absolutely love. I'm guessing this is based on the outfit he wears in Spearhead from Space, a great story. I'm not sure they've quite got the colour right on it, to be honest with you, but overall it's quite a nice variant. I think there's a fairly decent resemblance to Nicholas Courtney there, and I'm certainly glad I got the first set changed, because if it had had that big plastic piece stuck to the side of his head like on the first one I had, I think it would have really annoyed me. This one is much better, and also the paint apps are slightly better on this one. He doesn't look quite as startled as the figure in that first set. The paint apps are simple but effective on the figure itself. It would have been nice maybe to have had unit written on the actual beret there, but otherwise I think it looks pretty good. With the hand sculpts, you can see they're originally moulded to hold a gun or baton. These sets, however, don't come with any accessories at all. Not much to see on the lower half of the figure. Again, no detail on the shoes. In fact, there's a bit of a paint bleed there on one of the shoes, which is annoying, but otherwise they're okay. And whilst he may not be 100% screen accurate, it is nice to have a new variant of the Brigadier. And last up in the set is the Auton figure, and he's been given a new pair of overalls, a different colour, and I actually have the original figure here as well, just to compare the two. I have to say, putting them side by side like this, the original figure knocks the socks off the reissue. There's been no attempt to make any detail on the overalls, there's no paint apps on the buttons or belt. The face sculpt looks a bit more shiny on the new one as well, with the eyes much more defined on the original, so it's a bit of a lazy reissue this. Yes, even the paint apps on the figure's handgun are a lot better on the original. So a bit of a shame really, because I really do like the Auton figure, and with just a little bit more attention to the paint apps, I think he could have been a much better variant. And so, a slightly unusual set, but nice to have a Talons Tom and Spearhead Brig. Dun, 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 dun. So the 11th Doctor set includes the 11th Doctor, Amy, and of course Oswin Oswald, looking rather depressed there. Turning it round, we got a picture of the figures themselves, of course, which is very nice. That's it for the packaging. Set them free. So let's start as we did before with the Doctor himself. This time it's the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith. This figure was originally issued in the Impossible set, and he was wearing his big tall top hat in that one. This time we get to see him without his hat, so we can appreciate his big floppy fringe. I actually think the face sculpt on this is really good. You can definitely tell it's Matt Smith. He's very similar to the version we got in the Impossible set. Maybe the paint apps are slightly darker on the coat, but it's good to see that the buttons and the chain around the waistcoat have been painted neatly, because I have seen some sets where they haven't been very good. Taking a look at the boots, and yay, we've got shoelaces, so it's nice to see a bit more detail going into the shoes on this figure. So as with all the other figures, he's perfectly articulated. You can turn his hands and feet and legs and all that stuff, so you can pose him however you want. If you've already got him in the Impossible set though, you may not be too bothered about this version, although personally I really like having him without his big top hat. Also reissued from the Impossible set, yes, it's Oswin Oswald, the Impossible Souffle Girl herself. And much like the 11th Doctor figure from that set, I can't see an awful lot of difference between this version and the original, apart from the fact that the paint apps are a lot less rich and textured on this figure. It also does feel a bit more plasticky and lightweight. Paint apps on the shoes and laces are good, and I've always liked this utility belt that Oswin wore in that story. Always thought it looked a bit Star Wars, the kind of thing I can imagine Princess Leia wearing. Facially it's okay, they've managed to capture a little bit of Oswin's attitude, but I wouldn't say it's overly great either. So if you didn't manage to get Oswin the first time round, it's a perfectly decent reissue. And finally in this set, it is of course Amy Pond, and I have to say there's something about this figure, I really like it. I think this figure was originally issued alongside the 11th Doctor with a TARDIS, but I'm not too sure. But I really like the paint apps on this. I love the denim jacket. They've given it lots of different shadings to make it look weathered, which is good. The top underneath is kept nice and simple. There's loads of colours going on, so I just really like the look of this figure. I like the fact they've painted her legs to make it look like leggings, and there's a nice bit of detail on the boots as well, making them look very scuffed and worn. Facially, it could probably be better, but I like the sculpting of her fiery ginger hair, and I think overall the likeness to Amy Pond is good enough. And so, there he is, the 11th Doctor, Oswin and Amy. Maybe not the most exciting of sets, but a welcome one all the same. Boom, it's the 12th Doctor set, and I shall try to say something nice. So, includes the 12th Doctor, Missy, and our first Bill Potts figure. Turning it round, picture of the figures themselves. Right, let them out. So, the 12th Doctor, and we've had quite a few repaints of this figure since he was first released. This time we get him in his burgundy reddish jacket, and it looks rather nice. Keeping it simple with a plain white shirt works well against the red jacket. Facially though, they never did quite capture Peter's likeness that well, although it's certainly a hell of a lot better than the 3.75 inch figure that we got, which looked absolutely nothing like him. So whilst I'm not over enthused about having yet another 12th Doctor variant, I have to say I quite like this one. You can see his hand there was originally moulded to grip the sonic screwdriver, which of course he doesn't come with, but yes, having the, I suppose you could call it, velvet red jacket variant is a nice addition. Say something nice. Yes, it's Missy. Well, I'll try Missy, but for a start, it's really hard to get the figure to stand up. I think the original version came with an umbrella, so maybe she needs that to stand. Okay. Oh, no, come on. Now I'll have to hold her up. So, facially, it's the stuff of nightmares. Yes, it's very scary. I don't think it looks anything like Michelle Gomez, to be fair, but the figure as a whole, there's no mistaking that it's Missy. So I've had to lean her against the box because she's refusing to stand up. So if you don't already own a Missy figure, this is a nice one to have. She certainly goes very well with the 12th Doctor in this set. I just have a real hatred for figures that refuse to stand up on their own. And finally, completing this set, it's a figure that a lot of people have been wanting for a while now. It's Bill Potts, of course, and we'll be getting a deluxe version of this figure very soon. But for now though, I'm perfectly happy with this one. I'm just so glad to finally have a figure of Bill Potts. It's certainly been a long time coming. Yes, the paint apps on the top are a bit messy, and that's certainly something that's been improved on the next version coming out. But the sculpting of both figures is going to be exactly the same, and I think she looks pretty good. Facially it's pretty decent, but I did notice on some of the other ones in the shop that the bows have been really badly painted, so it's worth checking on that when you buy yours. So with this being the first Bill figure we've been able to buy, I think a lot of people will get this set just for her. And to be honest with you, I don't blame them. I think it's a great figure and it really makes the set worth buying. And so the 12th Doctor set, we get a nice variant of the 12th Doctor, our first Bill figure, and a drunk Missy. And so, saving what is hopefully the best till last, it's the Third Doctor and TARDIS set, and packaging is quite nice. We've still got the old style of logo, Third Doctor and TARDIS collector's figure set with opening doors. Woohoo! Right, turning it round, we've got a picture of the prototype on there. On the back, another picture of the prototype, and a nice bit of blurb on the TARDIS itself. And do pause now if you'd like to read it. Turning it back around, we do get this nice big window display which clearly shows off the set. On the top it says it's the Third Doctor and TARDIS set, in case you hadn't already worked that out, and on the bottom we get a diagram showing us how to open and close the TARDIS doors, just in case you've never opened a TARDIS door before. So that's pretty much it for the packaging. Let's get them out. Well, that was quite a mission to get it out of the box. The TARDIS was really tightly screwed into the bottom of it, and also this horrible plastic thing that's wrapped around the middle of it was so hard to get out because they tuck it in between each of the doors, and the doors are very thin plastic, and I tell you, it really felt like they were going to snap. I hated getting that thing off, but anyway, it's out of the box, and I have to say, it's lovely. It was definitely worth the wait. It's a really nice set. So let's start by taking a look at the Doctor himself, and I really like this variant of the Third Doctor. I love the outfit, the colour of the jacket. It's very similar to the one we got in the 13th Doctor set, except that one had a bow tie, whereas this one has a cravat. Paint apps on it look very good. A lot of people are saying that it was based on the outfit he wore in the Time Monster, which of course makes it slightly inaccurate because he didn't wear a cravat in that story, but either way, I think this is a really nice figure. Facially, they've done a great job in capturing Jon Pertwee. It really does look like him. And there's also a lot of nice texturing gone into the Doctor's big bouffant hair. Paint apps are kept very simple on the trousers, shoes and cuffs, but they work very nicely in contrast to the tone of the Doctor's jacket. It might have been nice if they'd painted the cravat a different colour to the shirt, but then again I think this has been done intentionally because in the Time Monster, the story this figure is apparently based on, the Doctor just wore an open white shirt, so I think by leaving it white the same colour, they're hoping it will just blend in and people won't notice. Either way, I think it looks fine. So just like the other figures in the sets, he's got lots of articulation in his legs and arms and hands move all around, but I can't get his head to move at all. But unlike some of the figures, the Clara one for example, which felt very lightweight and cheap, this figure has a bit of weight to him. He feels quite solid. So overall I think they've done a good job on him and I really like him. And so, onto the TARDIS, which is a repaint of the Fourth Doctor TARDIS we got many years ago. This time it's been painted a much lighter blue and been given this dirty weathered effect to make it look more like the Third Doctor's TARDIS. And in a somewhat strange decision, they've decided to give the TARDIS a black base, which I personally don't remember the TARDIS ever having. Some people have pointed out that in some stories the TARDIS prop was in such a bad state it had to be put on a black plinth to help it stand up, so I guess you could say it's based on that. But as it was hardly seen on screen and it's certainly very difficult to spot, I do find it a strange decision to paint the base black. But having said that, there is something about it I quite like. The lamp cover has also been painted black, but that's okay because it was black on the original prop for a while. I've seen a few people mention that the TARDIS roof seems to dip in towards the middle. They're all like that. Even the original Fourth Doctor TARDIS had the same issue. It's just the way it's been moulded. The Third Doctor's TARDIS often look very battered and dirty, and they've done a great job making this look very weathered, especially around the windows and the signage. Although I love the overall look of this TARDIS, it definitely feels like it's been more cheaply made compared to the previous sets. For example, the doors feel very thin and plasticky, but as a display piece, I think it looks great. The phone panel on the door may not be screen accurate, but having it on the black background does the job. And just so you know, there is no phone on the other side of it. When you open the TARDIS doors, there's no backdrop or anything inside, so it does look pretty ugly. I guess you could make your own, even something as simple as a piece of black card just to make it look nicer. And when you want to close those TARDIS doors, you just pull this one shut and press the button on the floor. It's such a shame this is a non-electronic TARDIS because it would look great if it all lit up and made the TARDIS sound effect like the previous sets did. It's also really annoying that we can still see the ugly battery compartment and speaker holes from when it was originally issued as the Fourth Doctor's TARDIS. Talking of which, I happen to have the Fourth Doctor's TARDIS here so you can compare the two. As you can see, they're exactly the same sculpt, just different paint apps. In fact, the Fourth Doctor's TARDIS would look great if it had just a touch of weathering to it, as it does look very clean when put next to the Third Doctor's TARDIS. Also, if I just switch this on, ah, lovely. And it's such a shame that the Third Doctor's TARDIS doesn't do that, but putting them side by side like this, they do look really nice together, so it's great to have a new variant. And so my overall thoughts on this Third Doctor and TARDIS set is that I actually really like it. I think it's a great figure of the Third Doctor with a good likeness to Pertwee, and even with its strange black base, I think this odd variant of the TARDIS is lovely. So the recommended retail price is £16.99 for the figure sets and £19.99 for the Third Doctor and TARDIS. Although these sets have clearly been produced on a budget with the idea of them being sold in a budget store, they are still of reasonable enough quality to make them nice collector's items. I do find it annoying these sets are exclusive to B&M stores though, especially as you can't purchase them from their website. But if you are able to get yourself to one of their stores and find them on the shelves, then I think they're really nice sets for the money. So there you have it, and I hope you've enjoyed coming on this quest with me. Despite a couple of little nitpicks with the sets, I do really like them, and I'm very pleased I managed to get them all, so thank you to everybody who helped me to track them down, especially Paul McMahon and Ben Lett, aka The Host Productions. Anyway, do comment below and let me know your thoughts on the sets, and tell me if you managed to get the ones you wanted. But for now, that's it from me, so do check out thegeekshandbag.com for more bits and bobs from me. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, so do say hello on there. As well as that, I do a weekly Doctor Who podcast to Gary that goes out every Friday called The Big Blue Box Podcast, and we're currently reviewing Doctor Who, Sarah Jane and Torchwood, so do give that a listen. And until the next time guys, look after yourselves, bye bye!